It's 10 a.m. here in India and you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. In the next hour, we'll talk about humanitarian pauses in Gaza and UNICEF's announcement of securing Mpox vaccine and how Indian para-athletes are making waves in the ongoing Paris Paralympics 2024. But first, the headlines. Israel-Hamas three-day humanitarian pauses begins from Sunday. Mass polio vaccination kickstarts in Gaza after the deadly disease re-emerges. Russia pushes on key Ukraine city while Kyiv's Kursk incursion slows. Zelensky presses US to greenlight deeper strikes into Russia. China and Philippines vessels collide again in disputed waters of the South China Sea, blames each other for escalating tension. Third incident in 2 weeks. In a tug of war for upcoming US presidential polls, series of criticism and commitments. Harris pulls up Trump over Arlington Cemetery visit. Trump commits waiver for small amount of marijuana. Indian para-athletes to compete in medal events in shot put, high jump and archery in the ongoing Paris Paralympics 2024. Competitions to take place in badminton, shooting, rowing and athletics as well. The United Nations on Sunday started vaccinating children against polio in the Gaza Strip during daily 8-hour pauses in fighting between Israel and Hamas. Over 600,000 children will be covered under the campaign. The World Health Organization says that at least 90% of the children need to be vaccinated twice with 4 weeks between doses for the campaign to succeed. Last week, a baby was paralyzed by the type 2 polio virus, the first such case in the Gaza Strip in 25 years.
Over 2,180 health workers and community outreach workers are ready and will support the campaign. The campaign will be delivered through 392 fixed points and almost 300 mobile teams. This is a massive operation. The security, of course, is paramount.
Russia has made sweeping advances in recent days that threaten to outweigh the gains made by Ukraine in its cross-border attack into Kursk region. Russian forces claim to be few kilometers away from the Ukrainian city of Pokrovsk. Home to a key railway station and major roads, Pokrovsk is an essential supply and reinforcement point for Ukraine's troops on the eastern front line. The battle for Pokrovsk is a continuation of the conflict for Avdiivka, which Ukraine lost in February after months of fighting. Avdiivka, which is about 40 kilometers southeast of Pokrovsk, was seen as a fortress that protected the settlements and roads to its west, helping to bolster Ukraine's presence along the entire front line. Meanwhile, the progress of Ukraine's landmark cross-border offensive has slowed considerably in the past week. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky increased pressure on the United States to let Kyiv strike deeper into Russian territory after his representatives met senior US officials in Washington on Saturday. He said that clearing the Ukrainian sky of Russian-guided aerial bombs would be a strong step to force Russia for just peace. Appealing to United States, Britain, France and Germany, he said they need the capabilities to truly and fully protect Ukraine and the citizens of the country.
Clearing the Ukrainian sky of Russian-guided aerial bombs is a strong step to force Russia to seek an end to the war and just a peace. I appeal to the United States, the United Kingdom, France and Germany. We need the capabilities to truly and fully protect Ukraine and Ukrainians. We need both the permissions of long-range capabilities and your long-range shells and missiles.
Tension seems to escalate between China and Philippines in disputed waters of the South China Sea. Both countries have accused each other of ramming Coast Guard vessels in disputed area of the sea. The Philippines has claimed a Chinese ship directly and intentionally rammed into its vessel, while Beijing has accused the Philippines of deliberately crashing into a Chinese ship. Saturday's collision near the Sabina Shoal is the latest in a long-running and escalating row between the two countries over various islands and zones in South China Sea. Within the past 2 weeks, there have been at least 3 other incidents in the same area involving ships belonging to the two countries. The South China Sea is a major shipping route through which $3 trillion worth of trade passes through a year. Beijing claims almost all of the South China Sea, including parts claimed by Philippines, Brunei, Malaysia, Taiwan and Vietnam. Food aid has started reaching conflict-torn Sudan. However, UN has warned that the aid is still less than what is required. UN also called for an early negotiation between the warring parties in the African nation. United Nations has started delivering food aid on the ground in Sudan that is not only facing internal conflict between two armed forces, but also facing floods. UN Deputy Secretary, during her visit to the Audrey border crossing while calling for a resolution to the fighting in Sudan, said that food aid is reaching Sudan but said it was insufficient. She was visiting the border post in Chad to witness in passage of humanitarian convoy.
We did not succeed in Sudan yet. This is a small amount. We did not succeed in Chad. It's a small amount. So the crises in the world are many, and what we need for the international community to do is to bring more resources. Today we are funding maybe 18 to 25, 30% of the needs. So commitments made by governments need to be fulfilled so that we can help the people of the world in need, those that are in.
The Pacific Islands Forum removed references to Taiwan from a group communique after complaints from China. A change Taipei condemned as a rude intervention, but which a forum official said did not alter the leaders' decisions. The communique released on Friday from the 18-nation summit included a section headed Relations with Taiwan and Republic of China. After an angry response from a Chinese envoy, the communique was removed from the forum's website that evening, and a new document was posted on Saturday morning with the references to Taiwan removed. China said that Taiwan is one of its provinces with no right to state-to-state relations, a position that democratically governed island strongly disputes. Now, Iran's new president, Masoud Pezeshkian, who has increased his grip over parliament by inducting reformists and a woman in his 19-member cabinet, is now seeking to mend fences with the world, but has complaints against the West. Known as reformist himself, the new Iranian president, Pezeshkian, has hinted investors all over the world to invest in his sanction-hit nation. In his first interview to the Iranian state television, the Iranian president said that his country was under severe sanction by Europe and America. He said other countries aligned to them too don't want to do business with Iran, and it created problem.
We are severely under sanctions. Europe, America and other countries that follow America have sanctioned us. They do not do business with us and they have created problems for us. Experts and economists say that we need $200 billion of investment for 8% economic growth.
Earlier, UN nuclear watchdog International Atomic Energy Agency Chief Rafael Grossi last Thursday had expressed hope to visit Iran soon to meet President Pezeshkian and kickstart nuclear dialogue afresh. Iran is under severe Western sanctions since 2018 when Donald Trump halted all talks with Iran during his presidency. And still to come on DD Indian News Hour, we tell you about those countries where X is banned. And UNICEF announces an emergency tender to secure Mpox vaccines for countries in crisis. A powerful typhoon Shanshan that hit Japan has now downgraded to a tropical storm.
agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome to Jaipur.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. Now, as election fever grips the United States, campaigning in the battleground states intensifies, with Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump launching a series of attacks on his rival Democratic nominee Kamala Harris. But the latest opinion polls present a troubling picture for Trump, showing a decline in his support base since Harris became the official Democratic candidate. DD India's Mihir Maikuri has more.
As the race to the White House heats up, Pennsylvania emerges as a key battleground. After narrowly surviving an assassination attempt in July, Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump took center stage on Friday with a high-stakes campaign rally in the state, underscoring its critical role in the election.
67 days from now, we're going to win Pennsylvania. We're going to defeat Comrade Kamala Harris.
Back in Washington, D.C., while attending the annual summit of the conservative organization Moms for Liberty, Trump launched a veiled attack on Vice President Kamala Harris, branding her as a defective person and escalating the rhetoric in their emerging rivalry.
She's defective. She's a defective person. And we don't need another defective person as President of the United States. We just had that.
Despite Donald Trump's vigorous campaigning, Democrat nominee Kamala Harris has surpassed the former president in at least 8 polls conducted since the Democratic National Convention. Now let's take a closer look at some of these key opinion polls. In a Wall Street Journal poll, Kamala Harris is backed by 48% of respondents, while Donald Trump has 47%. A Reuters Ipsos poll found Kamala Harris holding a 45% edge over Donald Trump's 41% among registered voters. In an outward intelligence survey, Kamala Harris leads Donald Trump by more than 5% in a 2-week contest, with 52.6% compared to Trump's 47.4%. In Quinnipiac's first poll of likely voters, Kamala Harris holds a 49% edge over Donald Trump's 47%. In a Suffolk USA Today poll, Kamala Harris leads over Trump by 5 percentage points among likely voters, with a margin of 48% for Kamala and 43% to Trump. Opinion polls indicate that Donald Trump has struggled to maintain support among women voters since Kamala Harris became the Democratic presidential candidate for the November 5 election. In a Reuters Ipsos poll released this week, Harris leads Trump by a notable 13 percentage points, with 49% of women voters backing her compared to Trump's 36%. However, the same poll offers a glimmer of relief for Trump, showing that he maintains a narrow lead over Kamala Harris in 7 key battleground states. Among registered voters, Trump holds a slight edge with 45% compared to Harris's 43%. Mihir Maikuri reporting for DD India.
US Vice President Kamala Harris on Saturday fiercely criticized former President Donald Trump for using his visit to Arlington National Cemetery as a political stunt. Harris condemned Trump's appearance, calling it a disrespectful act against the sacred ground. This critique followed Trump's participation in a wreath-laying ceremony and his visit to Section 60, a hallowed area restricted from political activities. Trump's campaign captured footage from the visit for promotional purposes, igniting controversy. Trump, addressing a Pennsylvania crowd on Friday, claimed that families of fallen soldiers from Afghanistan had requested his visit.
And while I was there, those families that asked me to be there, as they said, 3 families plus 1 soldier who was horrifically injured, both legs and an arm. And they asked me if I would be there, so I went. And while we were there, they said, could you take pictures over the grave of my son, my sister, my brother? Would you take pictures with us, sir? I said, absolutely, I did. And then I said farewell. I said goodbye. And last night I read that I was using the site to politic, that I used it to politic. This all comes out of Washington.
Former U.S. President Donald Trump on Saturday publicly endorsed constitutional amendment in Florida to legalize recreational cannabis. In a social media post, Trump declared that personal amounts of cannabis will be legalized for adults, asserting this change will happen whether people like it or not. As the Republican presidential nominee, Trump urged state lawmakers to draft laws prohibiting marijuana use in public areas to prevent the criminalization of individuals in states where cannabis is legal. He further commented that it is unnecessary to ruin lives and waste taxpayers' dollars arresting adults with personal amounts of it on them. Marijuana is legal in some form in nearly 40 states. While Britain's Labour Party announced plans to deliver the most packed legislative agenda for a new government in decades to improve employees' rights and greater protection for renters. With Parliament due to return from its summer recess on Monday, the authorities of the House of Commons have assured that in next few months, the government will introduce legislation intended to tilt the power from employers to workers and allow tenants to challenge unreasonable rent increases. All right, the ban on X in Brazil has taken effect. This comes after the Elon Musk-owned platform failed to meet a deadline set by a Supreme Court judge to name a new legal representative in the country. With this, Brazil has joined a small group of nations where X faces restrictions. China banned X, formerly known as Twitter, in 2009, just 2 days before the 20th anniversary of the Tiananmen Square massacre. In 2009, Iran also blocked the social media site amid protests over a disputed election. In 2022, Russia blocked X amid the conflict with Ukraine. Pakistan banned X during its 2024 parliamentary polls. Venezuela suspended X earlier this year amid protests over a disputed poll in which President Nicolas Maduro was declared the winner. X, along with YouTube and Facebook, is banned in North Korea, where access to internet is closely monitored by the government. Well, over 700 people arrested during the protests that erupted after Venezuela's disputed presidential election have been transferred to maximum security prisons. The leftist Maduro government, brushing off accusations of authoritarianism, has resisted intense international pressure to release vote tally numbers to back up its claim of victory. The United States, the European Union and several Latin American countries have refused to recognize Maduro as having won without seeing detailed voting results. The violence that accompanied the protests left 27 people dead and 192 injured. Electricity returned to Caracas and other parts of Venezuela after a blackout plunged much of the country into darkness on Friday. Venezuela's government blamed the massive blackout that crippled the South American country on an attack on country's largest dam without providing additional details. Now, Iraq is set to offer 10 gas exploration blocks to U.S. companies during Oil Minister Hayyan Abdel Ghani's upcoming visit to the United States, aiming to attract American investment to its energy sector. This move follows previous licensing rounds dominated by Chinese firms. 10 blocks will be up for grabs in a new bidding process as Iraq seeks to boost its domestic gas production. Additionally, Abdel Ghani announced a new gas investment project at the Al Faiha oil field set to begin by year-end with capacity of 125 million standard cubic feet. This initiative is part of Iraq's broader strategy to enhance its energy infrastructure and reduce reliance on Iranian gas imports. A 2-month visa amnesty program has taken effect into the UAE starting Sunday. The initiative offers a crucial opportunity for individuals residing illegally in the country to regularize their status or depart without penalties. The program takes effect from September 1st. Under this program, individuals with expired visas of all types, including tourist and residency visas, can either adjust their status to continue living and work legally in the UAE or leave the country without incurring fines or facing entry bans. The initiative also extends to individuals born in the UAE without official documentation and those who have absconded from their sponsors. However, the amnesty does not apply to those who entered the country illegally. According to official records, the number of Indian residents in UAE is about 3.5 million. Now, Mexican district judge has issued a temporary ban on the lower house of Congress discussing a continuous judicial reform until September 4th. The reform, which suggests electing 7,000 judges by popular vote and restructuring the judiciary, faces criticism from unions who warn it could threaten labor rights and invite criminal influence. However, Morena's leader in the lower house, Ricardo Monreal, has dismissed the order, hinting at a possible conflict between the judiciary and lawmakers. Both President López Obrador and President-elect Claudia Sheinbaum backed the reform, claiming it is crucial for tackling corruption and impunity. The proposal has also sparked tensions between Mexico and the United States and Canada. Well, Libyan authorities have dismantled a human trafficking network operation in the country's southwest and arrested members of the group. Authorities arrested one of the network's leaders and 10 members who are accused of murder, illegal detention and torture. The investigation documented violations has affected over 1,300 migrants. Now, UNICEF announced an emergency tender to secure Mpox vaccines for countries in crisis, collaborating with the Gavi Vaccine Alliance, Africa Centers for Disease Control and World Health Organization. According to the joint statement issued by the organizations, the tender could result in agreements for up to 12 million doses by 2025, depending on manufacturers' production capacity. UNICEF will establish conditional supply agreements with vaccine makers to ensure swift procurement and distribution once financing, demand, readiness and regulatory approvals are confirmed. This effect will also involve facilitating vaccine donations from high-income countries' stockpiles through partners including the Pan American Health Organization. And Nigeria will begin vaccinations for Mpox from October 8 after regulatory approvals are concluded. The vaccines to be subjected to regulatory lab analysis for 3 weeks, after which they would be distributed across 5 states. Due to limited available doses, around 9,980 of the Jynneos Mpox vaccine will be split evenly into 1,900 doses across 5 states for implementation. Nigeria received the first batch of 10,000 doses of the Mpox vaccine from US Agency for International Development on Tuesday. Now, a powerful typhoon Shanshan that hit Japan is now downgraded to a tropical storm. Flights and trains still disrupted in the country, affecting over 7,000 of passengers. 6 people have died and dozens were injured as the storm made landfall as a typhoon on Thursday, one of the most powerful to hit the country's southwest in decades. Some areas have already seen record rainfall totals, with key rivers swelling up, prompting flooding fears. Tens of thousands of people in Australia's Tasmania state were left without power after a cold front brought damaging winds and heavy rains, sparking flood warnings. Around 30,000 customers are without power across the state. The nation's weather forecaster said a cold front over Tasmania, although bands of showers and thunderstorms continue to pose a risk of damaging wind gusts. People wade through floodwaters in northeastern Sudan as heavy rains swept through the locality over the past days. The conflict-torn country has experienced an intense rainy season last month with intermittent torrential flooding mainly in the country's north and east. Calling the situation catastrophic, relief workers have requested the authorities to send aid unit and a mobile medical clinic. And stars light up the Venice Film Festival red carpet for Battlefield premiere. Celebrities flogged the Venice Film Festival with actors Aaron Taylor-Johnson, Emily Ratajkowski, Eva Green and Måneskin. Musician Victoria De Angelis making appearance ahead of the premiere of Italian director Gianni Amelio's new film Battlefield. The film, set in northern Italy in 1919, stars Alessandro Borghi as an army doctor facing the spread of a new infectious disease as World War I ends. Battlefield is one of 21 films competing for the Golden Lion Award this year. Jude Law and the cast of thriller movie The Order, directed by Justin Kurzel, made a dazzling appearance on the red carpet at the Venice Film Festival. The star-studded ensemble, including Jude alongside co-stars such as Tilda Swinton, posed for photographers amid enthusiastic applause from the crowd. Fans and critics alike are eager to see how The Order will fare in the competition, with many already buzzing about its potential for major awards at Venice. All right, let's take a look at other stories making news around the world. Malaysia celebrated its 67th National Day with the thousands in Putrajaya witnessing a grand parade. The event featured dynamic performances, a showcase of defense assets and an impressive air show as well. In a tragic incident in Mississippi, 7 people dead and dozens injured after a bus traveling westbound left the roadway and overturned in the east of Vicksburg. A 23-year-old former Miss South Africa contestant has been crowned Miss Universe Nigeria after a controversy over her nationality. The victory comes after a challenging period for the beauty queen. Shanghai Museum opens a new exhibition with theme of Egyptian cats antiquities, attracting hordes of visitors and visitors brought their own feline companions, fostering an immersive connection between cat lovers and the revered traditions of Egypt's past. The exhibit offers a window into ancient world's profound reverence for these majestic creatures. And still to come on DD India News Hour. Two-day National Conference of the District Judiciary to end today. President of India to address the closing ceremony. Weather updates from Indian states Gujarat and Andhra Pradesh. Operation Wolves continues in India's Uttar Pradesh's Bahraich district.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
As our ecosystems change, we not only need to amplify our efforts to save them, but we also need to adapt our lives.
Today, everything grows here. At an altitude of 5,000 meters, we grow mushrooms, strawberries, watermelon, and tomatoes. It's been made possible by the introduction of technology.
It's like with stocks. You diversify your portfolio to minimize risk. That's what we're trying to do with the mixed forest, too.
People's mindset is changing in favor of electric mobility, and I see huge success in the future as well.
Same eelgrass is one of the most important elements in the ecosystem along the Baltic Sea coast. It produces oxygen and provides habitat for smaller fish.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj, and a quick recap of the headlines. Israel-Hamas three-day humanitarian pauses to begin from Sunday. Mass polio vaccination set to begin in Gaza after the deadly disease re-emerges. Russia pushes on key Ukraine city while Kyiv's Kursk incursion slows. Zelensky presses US to greenlight deeper strikes into Russia. China and Philippines vessels collide again in disputed waters of the South China Sea, blames each other for escalating tension. Third incident in 2 weeks. In a tug of war for upcoming US presidential polls, series of criticisms and commitments, Harris pulls up Trump over Arlington Cemetery visit. Trump commits waiver for small amount of marijuana. Indian para-athletes to compete in medal events in shot put, high jump and archery in the ongoing Paris Paralympics 2024. Competitions to take place in badminton, shooting, rowing and athletics as well. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated a two-day national conference of the district judiciary at Bharat Mandapam in New Delhi on Saturday. In his speech, Prime Minister Modi highlighted the 75-year journey of the Supreme Court. DD India's Rahul Upadhyay brings us more.
India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Saturday addressed the National Conference of District Judiciary on the occasion of 75 years of the country's apex court, the Supreme Court of India. PM Modi addressed the conference in the presence of Chief Justice of India, D.Y. Chandrachud, Supreme Court Bar Association President Kapil Sibal and several other dignitaries. In his address, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that generations of Indians have contributed to the judiciary by trusting it. No one has ever distrusted the Supreme Court or the judicial system.
भारत के लोगों ने कभी सुप्रीम कोर्ट पर, हमारी न्यायपालिका पर अविश्वास नहीं किया। इसलिए सुप्रीम कोर्ट के ये 75 वर्ष मदर ऑफ डेमोक्रेसी के रूप में भारत के गौरव को और अधिक बढ़ाते हैं।
Talking about the new criminal laws, PM Modi said that the country has seen massive changes in the justice system after 60 years of independence.
इन कानूनों की भावना है सिटीजन फर्स्ट, डिग्निटी फर्स्ट एंड जस्टिस फर्स्ट। हमारे क्रिमिनल लॉज शासक और गुलाम वाली कॉलोनियल सोच से आजाद हुए हैं। सेडिशन जैसे अंग्रेजी कानूनों को खत्म किया गया है। न्याय संहिता की सोच नागरिकों को सजा देगा, यही एकमात्र नहीं है, लेकिन नागरिकों को सुरक्षा देना भी है।
The Chief Justice of India, D.Y. Chandrachud, termed the district judiciary the backbone of the judiciary and said it is a crucial component of the rule of law.
The quality of our work and the conditions in which we provide justice to citizens determines whether they have confidence in us and is a test of our own accountability to society. The district judiciary is therefore called upon to shoulder tremendous responsibility and is aptly described as the backbone of the Indian judiciary.
The two-day conference will throw light on ease of justice and speed of justice, human resource and issues pertaining to the justice system. The conference will also have a session on judicial wellness. Rahul Upadhyay's report for DD India.
India's President Draupadi Murmu will attend the closing ceremony of National District Judiciary Conference in the national capital. And bringing a sense of relief to the residents of the Indian state of Gujarat, the India Meteorological Department has reported that cyclone Asna, which was previously looming over the northeast Arabian Sea, has moved westwards and is now 310 kilometers west of Nalia in Gujarat. It is likely to continue moving away from the Indian coast over the next 24 hours. The Met Department also predicts of no heavy rainfall in the state in coming 5 days. Meanwhile, after days of continuous rainfall, Gujarat has seen a significant reduction in rain over the past 24 hours. The state has recently endured heavy rainfall over the past 4 days, resulting in over 30 deaths across Gujarat. The heavy rains have caused significant damage to infrastructure. In response to the floods, rescue operations have been carried out by the Army, Air Force, Navy, Coast Guard and local police in the state. All right, and DD India correspondent Parth Pandya is joining us live from Ahmedabad to tell us what is happening there. Hi Parth, a very good morning to you. Seems like sigh of relief for the residents of Gujarat. What is the latest you're getting for us?
Yes, Siddharth, good morning. Yes, things are quite normal now. After a week, that is from Sunday to Sunday, it has become normal. Because if we talk about last 24 hours, in last 24 hours, only Mundra of Kutch and Surat has received almost 25 mm of rain, that is almost 1 inch. No other part of Gujarat has received rain, and Met Department has also stated that in upcoming days there is not any sort of significant rain in the upcoming days in Gujarat. If we talk about the infrastructure part, the damaged infrastructure, especially in the Vadodara, things are getting normal. Team NDRF, SDRF, army teams are working right now. Almost 10 to 15% area of Vadodara has been submerged in the water right now. And things will be normal in upcoming 24 hours because electricity has been now going constantly in the Vadodara. Business has been started. Things are getting normal. It is a Sunday, so it is a quite silent day, but things are getting normal in Vadodara. In Mundra, in Mandvi and Kutch area, the things are getting normal because the waterlogged roads are now getting cleared, things are getting repaired. Administration is working 24/7 for this situation to get things normal. One more important thing, yesterday Met Department told that one more low pressure zone is getting created on the Bay of Bengal. That is why the coastal Andhra Pradesh, Odisha and the central part of India, that is Vidarbha, Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh, has been today in the watch list. But let's see what happens in the upcoming days. This low pressure zone is shifting northern westward. So it can come also in the Gujarat. But things are right now in control in Gujarat, and for the 10th, till the 10th September, things will be normal as per the Met Department.
Okay, that's some good news that you are getting for us. The situation is slowly becoming normal. Parth, how about the areas that are waterlogged? What is being done there?
See, almost 90% areas has been cleared. Only 10% areas of Vadodara and Mandvi of Kutch region, something there are waterlogged right now. But things are getting normal. The administration is constantly working to rescue people who are in the waterlogged situation. So yes, things are normal, and only 10 to 15% roads and the areas are submerged, and it will be cleared in upcoming 24 hours, most probably.
All right, Parth Pandya, thank you so much for your analysis. Heavy rain battered the South Indian state of Andhra Pradesh. Unrelenting and continuous downpour triggered by a low pressure system in the Bay of Bengal has disrupted normal life in coastal districts of Andhra Pradesh, particularly in Vijayawada. The Chief Minister spoke to officials about relief measures and assured that the government would stand by the families of the deceased. The government announced a compensation of ₹5 lakh each to the affected families. The India Meteorological Department also issued warnings of significant weather disturbances on Sunday in Hyderabad and other parts of Telangana. The Greater Hyderabad Municipal Corporation also issued an advisory urging residents to exercise extreme caution to ensure their safety and well-being. And DD India correspondent Ravi Shankar Mudigonda is joining us from Guntur, Andhra Pradesh, to tell us about what is happening there and what's the latest. Ravi Shankar, hello. Could you update us about the current situation there? What is happening?
Yeah, good morning, Siddharth. The depression in the Bay of Bengal, which was merged with regular cyclones, it was the capital region was badly affected by that. If you see Vijayawada especially, in the past 20 years, the highest rainfall was recorded in Vijayawada. From Friday night, 8 o'clock like that, the rain was started and it was poured like anything. And the past 48 hours, if you see, many places of the Vijayawada, they are absolutely dipped with rainwater. And if you see the Mangalagiri, which was recorded highest rainfall in the state, it was 27.9 centimeters in the state. And of course, the only capital region was much more affected. And 10 centimeters per hour rain was happened in both these places, Guntur and Vijayawada. That can indicate the severity of the rains. And because of these rains, 4 dead in Vijayawada, in Mogalrajpuram, which is a semi-hilly area, the landslides happened, and because of that landslides, 4 dead in Vijayawada, and 3 in Guntur in a car accident. It was dipped in a drain water, and because of the car accident, 3 were dead. A total 7 casualties in both the cities were happened. And CM Chandrababu Naidu, he is reviewing with both the city officials, commissioners, and collectors regularly and frequently, and he cancelled all these programs. These victims were announced 5 lakh per head as a ex gratia, and for the district 3 crore immediate flood relief fund was announced. And Indian Meteorological Department, if you see, it announced further more rains in coming 24 hours also. If you see the total scenario, Guntur and Vijayawada, including Mangalagiri, these 3 areas which are the capital region were much more affected by this rains, Siddharth.
Okay, Ravi Shankar Mudigonda, thank you so much for your analysis. Lieutenant General M.V. Suchindra Kumar, GOC in Northern Command, inaugurated a one-of-a-kind army museum in Gulmarg. The museum is an initiative to highlight the rich history and heritage of Kashmir, along with the role of Indian Army towards the security and development of Kashmir Valley. The Army Museum showcases the valor, sacrifice and enduring spirit of the Indian Armed Forces towards nation building. The state-of-the-art facility is dedicated to showcasing the Army's pivotal role in various wartime efforts, its contribution to national development, and the rich cultural tapestry of Jammu and Kashmir. And let's take a look at other stories making news. India's Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar is on a 2-day visit to northern state Uttarakhand. The Vice President visiting the National Indian Military College in Dehradun city. He will also visit All India Institute of Medical Sciences in Rishikesh. Operation Wolves continues in India's Uttar Pradesh's Bahraich district after man-eater wolves terrorized residents in over 35 villages of state. 4 wolves have been caught by a forest department team so far, and according to the forest department, there is uncertainty about the total number of wolves in the area. The pack of wolves has so far killed 8 people in the last month and half in Bahraich. General Officer Commanding of Indian Army's Kharga Corps, Lieutenant General Rajesh Pushkar welcomed Pine Division warriors at Ambala Cantonment on Saturday. The warriors were welcomed on their successful completion of trekking expedition to the Pin Parvati Valley in Himachal Pradesh. The team completed the arduous expedition within a short time of 9 days, negotiating a distance of over 100 kilometers of high-altitude terrain under challenging weather conditions, demonstrating remarkable resilience, teamwork and determination of the Indian Army soldiers. And still to come on DD India News Hour. Rohan Bopanna and his Australian partner Matthew Ebden advanced to the 3rd round of the US Open men's doubles. Bolivia hosts the conclusion of the paragliding pre-World Cup in Macapaca.
Shagato to West Bengal, India's cultural epicenter. West Bengal invites you to share its richness, to be united as one family with one shared vision of building a better tomorrow.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj, and let's take a look at all the updates from Paralympics. Indian Paralympians Avni Lekra and Preeti Pal are poised to secure their second medals at the 2024 Paralympics on Sunday. Lekra will partner with Siddharth Banu in the mixed 10-meter air rifle prone SH1 event, showcasing their precision and skill in shooting. Meanwhile, Pal returns to the Stade de France track to compete in the women's 200-meter T35 race, aiming to add another accolade to her Paralympic achievements. In men's badminton singles, India's Sukant Kadam will battle compatriot Suhas Yathiraj in the semi-finals of SL4 category. Regardless of the match outcome, India is guaranteed a medal in this event. Additionally, Nitesh Kumar will compete in the semi-final of the men's badminton singles SL3 category with aim to contribute to India's medal tally at the Paralympic Games. India's Rubina Francis held her nerves to win bronze in the women's 10-meter air pistol SH1 event on Saturday. Rubina secured the bronze by shooting 211.1 at the ongoing Paralympic Games in France. The 25-year-old shooter remained in the top 4 for the majority of the event, finishing in the podium spots. The Indian shooter even reached the top 2 spots in her 19th and 20th shots, but could not manage to hold on to the position. She finished with 211.1 points behind Iran's Sareh and Turkey's Aysel Ozgen. Rubina makes it India's 5th medal at the 2024 edition of the Paralympic Games, and this is also India's 4th medal from the shooting contingent as well. Rohan Bopanna and his Australian partner Matthew Ebden advanced to the 3rd round of US Open men's doubles by beating Spain's Roberto Carballes Baena and Federico Correa from Argentina. Second seeds Rohan Bopanna and Matthew Ebden moved to 3rd round with a comfortable 6-2, 6-4 win over the Spanish duo. Bopanna also won in the mixed doubles with Indonesian pair Aldila Sugiadi. Seeded 8th, they battled past Germany's Tim Put and Dutch player Demi Surs in the opening round. World number 1 Iga Swiatek cruised into 4th round of the US Open on Saturday, beating 27th ranked Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova 6-4, 6-2. Swiatek broke in the opening game on the way to a 3-1 lead, but Pavlyuchenkova dug in deep to keep her in sight, holding serve in 4 deuce games to pull within 4-3. She broke Pavlyuchenkova at love for a 2-1 lead and backed it up with a confident hold, then broke again as she coasted to the finish line. Swiatek will meet 16th seeded Lyudmila Samsonova of Russia for a place in the quarterfinals. And Yannick Sinner delivered a clinical performance to defeat Christopher O'Connell and advanced into the 4th round of the US Open 2024 on Saturday. Sinner won the match 6-1, 6-4, 6-2 to continue his fine run at the Flushing Meadows on Saturday. The dominance of Sinner was evident as he would break O'Connell twice and claimed a 5-0 lead in the first set. Sinner made no mistake with his serving in the final set as he finished the match in 1 hour and 53 minutes to move to the 4th round. Sinner will now face either Gabriel Diallo or Tommy Paul. While Bolivia hosted the conclusion of the paragliding pre-World Cup in Mecapaca, the event which made for spectacular viewing. The competition took place in South American nation for the first time, and 27 pilots from various countries participated who have proven their skills and experience in qualifying events. That's all for this edition of DD India News Hour, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. And for those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.